back to the channel. I went on my hunting trip last week, and it was not a very good week for us. I don't know if we were right, smack dab in the middle of the lockdown. I ain't seen nothing. Now I got there. I hunted that Sunday morning. I hunted all week. I didn't see anything by Friday. By Friday I was like, I'm just gonna hunt in the morning and just be on my way because right now I'm just freezing my toes off. And Friday morning I just so happened to run up on a very nice buck, and doe came out at about 55, 60 yards, and the buck was trailing her, nose to the ground, right on the path. I even tried, meh, meh, a few times. I brought the 350 Legend with me that I built, and it's shooting 180 grain broadside right in the lungs. I saw the impact. I saw him dip and run. I was very excited, and I tracked him for about 120 yards and lost the blood trail. So we got with the Georgia Blood Trailing Association. They sent out a fella, and he brought his bloodhounds out. We tracked that deer for 1,200 yards. Never found him. I was finding there was a really good blood trail, and I thought for certain I would find him. I ain't never heard of a deer getting shot in the lungs and running 1,200 yards, but 1,200 yards we lost the trail. Dogs was on them, and all of a sudden nothing. So that left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth. And now is the hypocrite moment, because I'd mentioned something about this earlier, and I finally broke down and decided I'm just going to build one. This is my new rifle. This is an AR-10 308. It is a Bear Creek Arsenal barrel. I believe it's a 20 or 22 inch. I'll add it to it in just a second. And it is a Palmetto State Armory lower. They fit up real nice. Now I have a Vortex Sonora scope on the way, and I will be taking this to the range, sighting it in, getting it dead on, and we're going to try this out. I brought a multitude of different calibers of rifle. I didn't even see anything. I figured last day I wanted to see what that 350, if the hype was up. I don't know. I know I'm not really gonna dog on the round, because I've heard good things, but from the experience I had with it, can't say I'm much of a fan. What I personally believe happened, but I never recovered a deer, so I can't prove it. But I think that the round went into the lung, went into the lung and didn't penetrate or go through the other lung or out the other side. There was a pretty good blood trail, and it didn't do what I'd hoped that it would do. Now it might have been user error. And then again, I did see it hit the deer. I mean, plain as day, fur went flying. I found fur where it hit them, and this is just, it comes with the territory. And but I decided, like I said, call me a hypocrite. Decided to try the old 308 AR-10 out. Yeah. So with that being said, this is her. She's got a long barrel, and being goofy, I put a bipod on it, and it's just something for the moment being, just to see what it will look like. Your AR-10 is similar to your 308, but not identical. They're different specs. Now, surprisingly, this upper, it's very lightweight. I mean, this complete rifle right here weighs less than my 16-inch AR-15 rifle, and with a shorter barrel, 16 obviously, and this one seems pretty lightweight. Now, they do come. You can get anywhere from a 10-round magazine, which is what I bought from Bear Creek to go with it, to a PMag, and I got the cover on there, 25 round with the clear indicator mag. So I bought the 10 round steel mag from Bear Creek to go with the upper. I I'm not quite sure what's going on with it. It might be the lips, but it doesn't want to stay in the mag well, and it doesn't want to load like it's supposed to. You know, tried it out with a few rounds just to see if it would feed, and it did not seem to want to work right. So that one, maybe it's a fluke. I'm not sure, but I went ahead and bought the PMag 25 rounder. Now that is a lot of rounds, especially for 308. But it's always better to have. It's always better to have more than you need, really, in my opinion. Nobody's ever complained about too much ammunition, and with that, I also took the time to buy some Federal 150 grain. I got a couple of boxes. I've got a lot of 308. 308 is a very common round. You can find it relatively easy. And here, I'll get these out of the way. Got the Federal 308 150 grain power shot. They say, according to the box, 300 yards and only drops 14 inches. I say only, that's a foot, but I don't really plan on shooting at that range, especially at a deer with it. Like with an AR-10, it is a similar style as the AR-15, just think bigger and bulkier. And it's always a good idea to match up your upper and your lower, though, because your AR-15s are the same specifications all around. They're all designed to that same one. AR-10s are a little bit different. You gotta want to make sure that your upper will match up with your lower. Now, as far as styles, your safety is still, right there on the side, up for fire, forward for safety. This one is a side charger. Now, say what you will, I'm quite fond of the side charging style rifles, especially like ARs, because once you put an optic, and which I do have an optic on the way, but once you put an optic on there, if you're wearing gloves, it's cold, you're going to have a hard time getting your fingers in there to pull back to charge it. With this one, you just pull straight back and, do your thing. Now, this is the lightweight upper, and I have to say, I like it. It's for as big as it is, because that is a long rifle. I wanted a longer barrel. I know it kind of defeats the purpose, but to each their own. I wanted to keep that barrel for that velocity. To me, it doesn't make sense to have a 16-inch 308 barrel. I mean, at that point, you might as well just bring good old 30-30 up there. This is something that I want it, and I'm gonna build it that way. And like I've said 100 times, to each their own. You have your bolt lock, your button on the side. Once you're ready you put your magazine in there, and then slams your bolt closed, loads your round, and you're ready to rock and roll. Now the bipod and flashlight I just put on there just because it's like a kid on Christmas. Now I think I paid $290 or $280 for the upper, right at $230 for the lower. It's not bad for an AR-10. You go and buy one of these already built in the store, you're looking at $700-800 easy, and that's for the cheap ones. And there's same type of customizing ability as you would have with a regular AR-15. You got your rails you can do whatever with. Only thing I don't like about Bear Creek is they do a lot of M-lock stuff. I mean, some people like it. I prefer to Picatinny, but that's me. And you've got your adjustable stock so you can do it. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, that is a long rifle. That's a 22-inch barrel, and I mean that's long, but that's my preference. That's what I wanted, yeah. So we'll see what she does. I'm hoping that she will do me good. Now, 30-06, everybody, as I've said 100 million times, 30-06 is my absolute favorite round. This is just the little brother to it. And what's really cool about an AR-10 is you can switch out the upper. So this is a 308. you can go and buy a 6.5 Creedmoor or a 243 upper using the same lower and the same magazine and be able to use it. Just swap out your upper. So, like, say, that's just a little much. You wanted to go and get a short 243 for, your niece or nephew or your son or daughter, whatever. It's easily doable. You just take the 2 pins out and boom, you're ready to rock and roll. So I will be, taking it to the range and sighting it in, and I will be recording that so everybody can watch it and get an idea of how to do it. Which you can find any video on YouTube of how to sight in a rifle, but figure it's worth a shot. If you're watching these, you might be interested to learn how I do it. So, but yeah, that I do have a little bit of footage of the hunt. It wasn't a very successful hunt. Not gonna lie, but I'm going back up there next weekend to try my luck. Hopefully, the red lockdown will be over. I'll be able to get something. It just wasn't meant to be that week. My camera mount broke, so I wouldn't really even do. I did manage to get a video of my buck running away. What was it? 2 days before I shot him. I was sitting in the box stand, and I don't have the video up, but I was sitting in the box stand, and Tyler was coming in on the four-wheeler, or not four-wheeler, on the Gator, UTV, whatever you want to call it, and spooked him at the last minute, and I got to watch and wave goodbye as he ran away. So that it happens. I mean, you can't help. Nobody knows perfect timing. Nobody's got perfect timing on anything. You just get the luck of the draw. So, that's basically that on that. I do think y'all be proud of me. I got my 9 finally mounted. That piece of driftwood or petrified wood, whatever you want to call it, was actually, I kicked my toe on that, dragging out the 8-point right there. And anyway, yeah. So what I'm expecting is this to be basically my all around. We're going to see how she functions, how she does. The 150 grain 308 should have plenty of power for any whitetail in South Georgia or Southwest Georgia at that point. Should have plenty of power. So we're going to see. Like I said, I'm sure I'm going to get some flack about, one, the length of the barrel of this, but that's what I wanted. Two, with the buck, I shot him in the lungs. I am 99.9% sure it was a lung shot. I saw the impact. It is what it is. But that's why I'm not dogging on the cartridge. It did function. It hit accurately, and it just, to me, it didn't seem to have the penetrating power. That, or maybe a buck chasing a doe, adrenaline, hormones, whatever, testosterone, whatever have you. He just didn't want to, quit. So hopefully, I'll be able to try this one out, put it on a big buck, put it on a doe or a hog or even a coyote. Speaking of coyotes, check out what my buddy Tyler shot. So he was actually, he saw this coyote and shot it, and when he shot it, its jaws locked down on the piece of deer in its mouth. So that's a 1 in a million shot. I'm thinking about sending that into the Georgia magazine so everybody can see that, but it's 1 in a million time that I'll do that. Like, the jaws actually locked down on the deer. So if you ever wondered how bad coyotes are for deer, there you go. And then Andrew's daddy, actually, he was the only one to shoot a deer. He shot this 8-point, and he was very proud. But that was also a first experience for me because he shot it with the old trusty 30-06, and it went in and did not come out. We had to track that deer. He didn't make it too far. He made it maybe 70 yards, but I've never seen a 30-06 go in a deer and not come out a deer. So interesting to say the least. That week was all news for me. So and it was fun, but it was a bummer because we didn't see a lot. But hopefully, I'll get up there. I got my camera mount fixed. Nothing you can't fix with there's nothing you can't fix with super glue. And hopefully we'll have everything set up. I'll be able to get some footage. Get out there. This is the one I want to test, and that's kind of always been a comparison, and that's something I do want to do a comparison on one day is the 243 and the 308, because me personally, I feel, I did have a sweet spot for that 243, but the old 308, I mean, it's a good round. So we'll see. I'll bring them both, and we will see what we can do with it